We're driving a 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz. They call it a sport adventure vehicle. We call it a little pickup truck. Coming up, do you need more pickup truck than this? We'll dive into it. But first, interior.
This is pretty elegant inside for a vehicle with a bed on the back. What's contributing a lot to that is this piece right here.
You like shiny black plastic?
I know, it's in a low touch zone, so it doesn't collect the same fingerprints and dust. However, there's plenty here that's doing that job.
But I think you're right. If you covered over the back, you would not know this was a pickup truck.
That's because it's a sport adventure vehicle.
The branding has worked on you.
I am really enjoying the storage here. Large center console, drink holders here that are low enough that I can still reach the controls for the HVAC, storage in the door for a bottle, but it is at a bit of a lean, so it might spill.
And then you also have a very obvious phone zone with adjacent power ports and, in this case, a wireless phone charger. For small storage, you can flip up the rear seats. Mostly it's occupied by the jack, but it's always nice to have a little extra space inside the cabin.
And I really appreciate that it's split, so you can keep your child and child seat installed while you access the storage on the other side.
How are you finding seat comfort?
It's a manually adjustable seat, but still cozy enough. And you have adjustable lumbar.
I sure do. Let me use it right now. Oh, there we go. Okay, seated in my ideal front seat position, behind myself, I clear no problem. Even in that middle position, the driver's seat sits high enough that you can slot your feet under, which gives you just that extra little bit of space. Even though this is a small pickup truck, average sized adults and maybe then some will fit in the back seats. Compare that to something like a Toyota Tacoma, even though that's maybe technically a larger pickup truck, it did not offer more space than we're experiencing here. Two features I think are interesting that they are missing. One, there are no memory seats, even though this is the absolute highest trim of Santa Cruz they offer. And then in the back seat, there's no flip down center armrest. And now an exciting development in the world of our family videos. You asked for it and we've made it come true. Kiddo, tell us, how did you find climbing in and out of the Hyundai Santa Cruz?
I found it super easy because the door opens super wide and the car sits super low.
Look, we gave her a microphone. We did it. Yay! Kiddo, that means that your contributions to these videos are now good enough that we want to hear you.
Yay. Wait, what?
Now the moment you've really been waiting for, let's talk about that bed. It's like 52-ish inches. That's actually only about 2 inches smaller than, let's say, the Ford Maverick. And it's actually a bit wider a bed than you'd find in the Maverick.
Accessing the bed is super easy for short people like me because there's a corner step and it's not too high.
Adding to the functionality back there, there's an underfloor area with a drain plug so you could fill that with ice, load it up with beverages, have a big old time. There are also little side pockets with little covers, tie down spots, and then on this version, we've got movable cleats, and there's also an integrated tonneau cover. The optional tonneau cover here helps keep items in the bed secure, but if you want it out of the way and you want to load up high, just push right here. It slides forward out of the way. Now where it slides into, that little receptacle there does take up some space in the front of the bed, but overall, that tonneau cover does make this a much more flexible space. And if you appreciate flexibility, you might appreciate Flying Eyes sunglasses. Featuring patented Resilimide construction, Flying Eyes are lightweight and flexible, which makes them extremely comfortable under a headset or a helmet. If you're in the market for eyeglasses or sunglasses, click the link in the description below to learn more about Flying Eyes. If you use the promo code Micah, you'll save 10%. Flying Eyes. Look, I'm bending them again.
One more thought about the tonneau cover. It makes it so handy when you go on big shopping trips and you don't want all your groceries to get wet.
Oh no, my groceries are getting all wet and stolen. There's got to be a solution. Moving back inside, any issues with getting our booster seat installed?
No issues getting the booster seat installed. The door opens wide, easy to snap in. And there's enough room back there that I bet you could make a rear-facing car seat work.
As for safety, the Hyundai Santa Cruz does include a full suite of active driver assist standard and 6 airbags. What do we think, family? Is the Hyundai Santa Cruz family friendly?
Small family friendly.
Rear window test. All the way down. Bunk. Armrest test. Driving in a comfortable 8 and 4, I have easy access to both inboard and outboard armrests. Maybe a little bit hard on this edge here, but it's yielding enough that it's comfortable. Outboard, a little bit more squishy. 70% inboard, 80% outboard. Hey, would you like to see more videos like this where I dodge potholes and then we review cars as a family?
As a family!
As a family, we're dodging potholes and the occasional helicopter adventure. If you'd like to see more of this, feel free to subscribe. And if you really like what we're doing, you're always welcome to join our channel to gain early access. Onward to style! Unlike many other pickup trucks, this is only offered in one body style, one bed length. The front end looks very Hyundai Tucson because this is basically a Tucson with a bed.
There's a real likelihood that something that looks this much like an SUV up front and that much like a truck out back would feel a little disjointed. I think the body cladding with the pattern on it is really helping to unify things.
There's the little pictures of the car on the car, which is kind of cute and also a little bit silly. Remember that thing that you can see if you just step back 3 feet? This is it! Here it is! For 2024, they've made bi-LED headlights standard, and they've also added an XRT trim. And when you look at the XRT and you see like slightly wider fender flares, body cladding on the door, and you see like steps, you might think, oh, this is a more capable off-roader. It is not. But it does look more capable, which is the next best thing to being more capable. Despite its unconventional style, we like the look of the Hyundai Santa Cruz. But how do you feel about the Santa Cruz? Good? Bad? Tell us in the comments. Onward to In Motion. I got into the Hyundai Santa Cruz after driving a Toyota Tacoma. Now, in the Tacoma's defense, it was the TRD Sport version, which has a stiffer suspension, but the contrast was outrageous. Two vehicles with beds on the back, and this one very refined. The suspension does such a wonderful job staying compliant, but also composed. Not only does it ride well, but it's also very quiet in here. The steering ratio is actually fairly quick, not too quick, but you just get reactions from the chassis quicker than you would many pickups. It's happy to move at a somewhat accelerated pace. Big bump here, let's see what happens. My God, that was impressive with no drama.
Let's drive through more hot potholes.
Sweetie, throw down the spike
Santa
strips.
Cruz.
Let's see how it performs. We have an independent rear suspension. It's also self-leveling. There are reasons for pickup trucks to have live rear axle, but along with the resilience that you get with the live rear axle, you do have ride quality implications. This thing rides better. For power, we've got a 2.5 liter turbocharged engine, and as I come onto this straightaway, I'm going to floor it right now. Floor it. Whee! You heard the revs rise, got a fairly speedy downshift, and then the power came in. Let's do that one more time, just see what happens. There we go, that felt a little better. What I'm not noticing is like a ton of turbo lag, although a really good way to test that, let's put this thing down into manual mode. I'm gonna go in third gear here, so I'm at like under 1500 RPM and floored. There we go. Now you feel the power come in even before we get to 2000 RPM. Solid torque. That's floored, staying in gear from about 2000 RPM. Good pull. I like the engine and I like how it delivers power. It's paired with an 8-speed wet dual clutch. You get speedy gear changes, but because you have basically a robot controlling a clutch at low speed, there can be some odd behavior. Let's say you're in the school pickup line. I've noticed a little bit of like juddering.
That's not the smoothness we expect from a sport adventure vehicle.
It either wants to engage or not engage, but in that low speed slip, it's just a little uncomfortable. The transmission, I'm fine. Now the dual clutch only comes on the more powerful turbocharged engine. The base engine just has a traditional 8-speed automatic. And then we also have a couple of drive modes we can play with, but you'll notice there's an absence of an off-road mode, which suggests that this is not made for like off-roading. Ground clearance is pretty good. It's like 8.6 inches. You can definitely hit the trails, but they're gonna need to be pretty chill trails. All right, that's what I think about driving the Hyundai Santa Cruz, but what does Sweetie think? Evie's at the wheel, do a hard turn to the left. And let's see how that turning circle feels.
Ooh, that feels like a nicely tight turning circle and easy to do.
How are you feeling in terms of like predictability and like ride compliance? Does it feel like good?
This is totally the kind of vehicle where I would just completely forget that there is a bed on the back.
And then what about visibility?
Over my right shoulder, the pillars are thick, the belt line is high. Over my left shoulder, visibility is poor for me because I ride so close to the steering wheel, but out the front, visibility is good.
By contrast, because there's so much hood and the windshield is so narrow in the Tacoma that when you get in this thing, it's like, oh my gosh, I see nothing but road. If we were in the market for a small pickup truck for the family, would you feel comfortable driving a Hyundai Santa Cruz?
Not just willing to drive, I would enjoy driving this.
Now that's strong praise. I'm getting back in the driver's seat. In total, the Hyundai Santa Cruz, among vehicles that have a bed attached to it, is arguably the best handling, best riding one you can buy. That's a big statement. And if you think I'm wrong, please tell us in the comments. Moving onward to remarks. Infotainment! We have a standard 8-inch screen, but the version we're driving has the optional 10.25-inch screen, which comes paired with this other 10.25-inch digital gauge cluster. Interestingly, the 8-inch screen has like physical knobs down here for the HVAC controls. Here we don't have that.
I think the lack of controls provides a nice clean look, but it's really hard to operate any of these controls when you're driving.
You have to look and read and then push where the letters are. There's no way to do it by feel alone.
That said, when you do operate them, they react quickly.
For some capacitive controls, they can be kind of finicky, and these do seem to offer snappy reactions. As for the infotainment interface, quite easy to use. Not to dive into a rant, but with the basic screen, you get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless. But then, for some reason, when you go up to the 10.25-inch screen, as is the case with all Hyundai Kia vehicles, you lose that wireless functionality and you have to have a wire to connect your phone. Still don't have a good explanation as to why that's the case. As mentioned earlier, we're driving the Limited trim, which is the oh, we're so fancy, I'm choking on it. We have a few features in here that you won't find on lower trims. Blind view monitor in the gauge cluster when you turn on your turn signal.
Love that.
Love that. We also have a 360-degree camera system, which offers great visibility around the vehicle. And then also highway driving assistant keeps you in your lane and keeps you a certain distance from the vehicle ahead. My philosophy is if my hands are on the wheel, I may as well be driving, but technology. It's what you say when you have nothing of value to add to the conversation.
I'll bring that up often. Technology!
In the beginning of the video, we teased that we were going to talk about whether or not you need any more pickup truck than this. Here goes. If your plans for the bed on your pickup truck include hauling gardening gear, bikes, and air, and you rarely haul more than 4 adults inside, you do not need more pickup truck than a Hyundai Santa Cruz. On the other hand, if you regularly plan to haul large loads, tow more than 5,000 pounds, or go off-road, you need more pickup truck than the Hyundai Santa Cruz. Also, if you just want a pickup truck that looks tougher than this thing, that is totally cool. Just know that your tough pickup truck is probably going to cost more than this thing, and it's definitely going to ride and handle worse. And now it's our daughter's time to shine. Kiddo, can you tell us what is your favorite feature of the Hyundai Santa Cruz?
The kiddo window.
Oh yeah, that thing is like one kiddo's face big. And it's a nice way to just sort of air out the interior a little bit. In fact, kiddo, if you can, open her up. Hooray, a modest amount of ventilation. All right, let's talk engine choices. The base engine is a 2.5-liter inline 4-cylinder. If you want all-wheel drive, that's an extra $1,500. Then on higher trims, that same 2.5-liter is turbocharged, and it only comes with all-wheel drive. If you want to tow, the base engine can max out at 3,500 pounds, and the turbocharged engine peaks at 5,000 pounds.
Sweetie.
Yes.
Can you share our trim recommendation?
You're right, I can. Our trim recommendation is which trim will give you the essential features you would regret not getting in your Hyundai Santa Cruz, but at the lowest possible price. We're going to recommend the SEL trim because it offers essentials like smart key access, but also it adds heated front seats, a power driver's seat, and the ability to add the activity package. That package tacks on those 10.25-inch screens, which I don't really care about, but you might. But also the package adds roof rails, rear sliding glass, utility bed tracks, a 115-volt outlet in the bed, and that sweet integrated tonneau cover. Total cost $33,310. And if you're ready to buy a Santa Cruz of your very own, click the Kelley Blue Book pricing link in the description below to see what you should pay for a Santa Cruz and what your current car is worth. As for competitors, the most obvious one is the Ford Maverick, another small pickup truck. It's got a $3,000 cheaper base price, but that is a basic-ass truck. For our trim recommendations with both the Maverick and the Santa Cruz, the Maverick is actually more expensive. If you want a slightly larger version of an SUV that has a bed tacked on the back of it, you could get the Honda Ridgeline. There's also mid-size pickup trucks like the Chevrolet Colorado and the Toyota Tacoma. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comments section. Synopsis! In thinking about the essence of the Hyundai Santa Cruz, it is easy to live with and pleasant, in bold contrast to the choice that you're drawn to, which is exciting and rough riding. To me, it is the person you decided not to date when you were 20 of small pickup trucks.
Also, should that Synopsis have come with a parental advisory?
We just demonstrated the difference between suggestive and explicit. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the Hyundai Santa Cruz. May I have a 5? And a 5? And you can get your high five.